I hadn't quite clocked that, to be honest with you. Cocky get, isn't he?
No, Simeon Chodosh.
He comes in here and he shows off with his knowledge.
I know, Simeon Chodosh starting from the pit lane as he didn't post a lap time in qualifying, and Chad Donner with fueling stroke electrical issues in the previous race in Ford v Chevy, so he won't be able to take part in the Bernie's V8s.
At the moment, there's a lot of changes going on a bit further back, I have to say.
I don't know whether that's the number 87 of Peter Samuels that's trying to carve his way through the order in one of the MGB V8 Roadsters as well. By way of our race leader, Michael Saunders, absolutely flying away from the number 20 machine in the hands of Sam Wilson. Another one of the MGB V8 Roadsters that's carving his way through the order is Phil Walker. He's desperate to make up some places in the early stages of this race, because they may have checked the weather as well and gone, right, 25 minutes, if we do end up with any of the wet stuff, let's get as much of the hard work done now. Over the line, Michael Saunders. That was a quick opening lap.
Which we've seen him do many, many a time, let's be honest, is that's fine. It was a passing shower, it's gone. We don't even need to think about it anymore. It's fine, it's not a problem. Of course, I got it wrong earlier because the 95 car of Dave Stewart, I was looking from the wrong angle. That is actually TVR Griffith rather than TVR Tuscan, whereas Saunders at the front there, it is actually a TVR Tuscan for him, and it's very easy to see that they're different cars this time. But he's piloting that car incredibly well. At the moment, he's under huge pressure from the Ellis's Talbot Sunbeam Lotus. Historically, as you turn around and go, right, that's Matthew Ellis that's behind the wheel at the moment. But I have to say, his dad Martin is just getting quicker and quicker, so we can't quite as easily assume that anymore.
No, we can't, and it's good to see. Another driver I want to keep an eye on is Peter Samuels, because he's closing in on the Ellis Talbot Sunbeam Lotus. He just goes over the line giving chase now. Further back, there's a good battle between the MGs, one of which is car number 21, I believe it was, when it flashed through and over the line, which struggled.
Yeah, Bernard Foley, that one, isn't it? The silver and burgundy one.
Yes, Bernard
Who's
Foley.
he under pressure from then?
He's under pressure. I've got a feeling that's Phil Walker, is it? No, it is
Wells,
car number
88. Steve Wells.
Steve Wells. It is indeed. That's not the MGB V8 Roadster, it's just the MGB V8, and it's really starting to soak up the pressure. As a pair, they are closing in onto one of the Tuscan Challenge cars, that being the number 761, I think it was, Guy Carter. So Guy Carter is starting to apply yet further pressure. Over the line once again goes Michael Saunders. God, that's a very, very quick lap indeed.
Talking a very quick lap is Sam Wilson's getting that beast tame, the Aston Martin V8 Vantage that has had so much work done on it over the years. They've actually had to remove some of the aero by the looks of it, whether that was the damage or whether that's just the nature of this particular race. But they've really fettled that one over the years and done a brilliant job with it. I have to say as well, when I was walking back from Victory Lane, it was the Ford versus Chevy race that was on, and before I walked down through the tunnel opposite us here, I stood there just for a second because the noise is phenomenal. We don't get to appreciate it quite the same way. You guys out there on the spectator banks, I now realise, I've been reminded just how much of a treat it is with these cars. The rumble was staggering.
Yes, yeah, it's just amazing. You can't describe the noise either.
It was almost like, surely that's not legal.
Yes, yeah, effectively, we're causing earthquakes is what we're doing at Brands Hatch here this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, and it's great to have you all along with us. Where do we look? Because there's battles going on everywhere. We've now got the battle of the NASCARs. Jake Swan is applying some pressure onto the 0-1 of Chris Richardson over the line on the brakes in towards turn 1, and those two are absolutely together, but they are generations apart in age, aren't they?
Absolutely. I mean, like you and me.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. One was around when the dinosaurs were here, and the other one's just better. The other one is just better.
Oh no, you didn't.
So oh yes, I did. So Jake Swan is starting to apply yet more pressure onto Chris Richardson. Michael Saunders, does he not get lonely?
Yeah, no, I doubt it. I have to say, I've only just actually noticed that Robert Holliman, either that's not the same Porsche or he's gone for a different livery on that one all of a sudden. It's almost a Duckham's livery now, isn't it? That beautiful number 9, blue and yellow, whereas normally he was in a blue with just a few yellow stripes historically, but that had all sorts of issues here the other week, didn't it?
It did indeed, and yeah, that was a suboptimal weekend for him. Blue flags being waved by our ever efficient Brands Hatch marshals. We've had a bit of shuffling, but tumbling down the order 3 places on the lap prior was the number 83 machine, Phil Walker. So Phil Walker, in one of the MGB V8 Roadsters, has had a troublesome lap, and into the pit lane he comes.
There we go. I mean, you've got to assume if someone's making this much noise, they've got to be a little bit precious as well, haven't they? Easy to sort of tip over the edge.
No, it's not. It's not Phil Walker into the pit lane. That's one of the Chevrolet Corvettes. We'll have
lane 92 lane.
It is indeed. So into the pit lane comes Simon Lane. As of battles elsewhere out on circuit, there are some brilliant battles, but now everyone's mixed in with traffic. You don't know whether it's a battle for that corner or it is a genuine battle on circuit. The two NASCARs are still fighting away. Jake Swan isn't letting up.
I love that, watching that round Paddock Hill bend. They go 0-1, and Jake Swan in that familiar red and white livery, number 99. A little bit of a lock up there by the Talbot Sunbeam Lotus this time round, the Ellis car, and it has fallen away from any car. Oh, we've got off into the gravel. That's the green and black TVR, is it not? He says, trying to remember which one that is. Yeah, that's up, by the way, sorry, I realised that I should have said a bit more descriptive. Off at Clearways, just into the gravel. I think it's made light contact with the rector cell barriers.
Yeah, it's Chris Ridge, unfortunately. Car number 54 is trapped in the gravel, and he's made it all the way to the rector cell barrier as well, which makes you think, did he hit the curb and wash wide, or was he trying to stay out the way of some traffic, safety car being deployed, or was he trying to work his way through and past some traffic that just compromised him slightly, and he didn't really react quick enough, but hopefully he can jump out the car and be all well. Marshals walking back to their post suggest that he's already jumped out the car.
Yeah, it's the problem is that's quite a thin wedge of a gravel trap up there, isn't it? Really?
Yes.
So they just can't take the risk that someone else goes off there and makes contact with the car, which is a little bit harder than rector cell barriers.
It is a little bit, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I always say this is rector cell cushions, rector cell barriers, whatever you want to call them, are one of the best inventions in motorsport. Is that it really limits the damage to any cars, and quite often you can have them get going again. I remember the photograph of Sam Neary going wide at Paddock Hill Bend here in the the ABBA Racing Mercedes. It was either in British GT or GT Cup
that weekend, was it?
I think it was British GT one, because I wasn't here, but I saw a wonderful photo. Went and half the car was just disappeared into that rector cell barrier. He then came out, carried on, and all that had happened, his wing mirror was pushed in.
Such a shame. Aside from, you won't like me for this, Castle Combe, the rector cell barrier at turn 2, once you go over the crest, or in theory, that seems to do a bit more than any other rector cell barrier. But you are going a bit quicker into Quarry.
It's quite an active corner, yes.
Another really good example of the benefits of the rector cell barrier yesterday, when the 24 of Dombrowski at the NASCAR Euro Series Open, when he went off, and it looked like an incident, I think is the best way of putting it, and they rebuilt the car and it went out there for a podium earlier on today.
It took all the energy away. You've spotted something, Chris.
33 Kevin Borland's retired the car behind us here, which is a shame. The big thing is we're not allowed to talk about what magic is inside these rector cell barriers.
Something goes on.
It's magic. I mean, I've heard rumours that it's the lint from a mouse's handkerchief, the cream from a bourbon biscuit, and the last strand of a unicorn's horn. But we're not allowed to really talk about that.
Was it you and Senior that came up with jelly curbs and treacle traps?
No, that wasn't me.
No, okay.
I wouldn't come up with such nonsense.
Yes, you would.
Oh, right.
That was one of the things he said, jelly curbs, so nobody uses them, so
Jake
you can't wobble around.
stood there going, what did I just listen to?
Was that a Crystal's fun fact?
It was, mate.
Is that what it was? Oh, fantastic.
Welcome. You were looking forward to them. You knew they'd come out eventually.
I wondered what time on Sunday it was going to happen.
It's normally as I'm starting to go stir crazy, but it's way before that this time.
Jake Swan over the line. What can Jake Swan do about when we get this race back underway? What can he do about trying to work his way through and past Chris Richardson? Because we are now effectively on the final lap of safety car, as I think very shortly we are going to see Chris Ridge towed to the relative place of safety onto the GP loop. So as we look at the safety car, we've got to keep an eye on the safety car lights and whether the safety car lights are going to switch off on this occasion or they are going to remain on. Chris Ridge's car is still there or thereabouts, and I think they are going to manually push it. Safety car lights remain on, so we're going to have at least one further lap of safety car. We've got 14 3/4 minutes of the race still to go, so plenty of time for the order to shuffle, and it really did shuffle around in comparison to where they started. You've spotted something.
Yes, we have. Is that Samuels?
I think it may be. It's definitely one of our
83.
MGs.
So no, it's a little bit further back, isn't it?
It's Phil Walker, yes.
So Phil Walker's got a problem.
Yeah, he's tried to get it to the Armco barrier where the marshals can help him, and out of the way so the safety car can remain out there.
Again, apologies. I realised that we were just talking about images we were looking, so that is attempting to go up the hill towards Druid's Hairpin, isn't it? And he's just rolled it back a little bit.
He tried,
but the grass beat gravity somehow there.
Yeah, I don't know whether he put a load of lock on and sort of skidded on the grass and got rid of all of his momentum. But the marshals immediately on scene, so a massive thank you once again to the Brands Hatch marshals. The safety car is still out there. Thankfully, very well done by the marshals. Phil Walker's car has already disappeared behind the Armco barrier. We just need to wait on Chris Ridge. I wouldn't imagine they will leave the car.
Well, the weird thing is they had they took all the strops off, and they were then speaking to the driver. He was sat in there, and they had assumed that he was going to be able to drive away, but he obviously hasn't been able to. So you've got that whole cause or effect thing that you just don't quite know. Was that an issue that forced him to go off that means he hasn't been able to move at all now, or is that from the contact with the rector cell? Yeah,
now he is where he is. We could see safety car lights off either very late this time or next time by. I'd imagine it will be next time by. Safety car lights still on, heading through the final corner. So we are heading on to our final lap of safety car, and by the time we get back round, it's going to be the best part of an 11.5-minute sprint.
Yeah, I mean, that was the beauty. It was a 25-minute race, so we still got plenty of fight left in this, isn't it? Which is why they didn't need to excessively rush this one through. Don't forget, we've got some drivers that are doing this race, some that will do the next race in these ones. So, you know, you've got drivers that aren't doing tomorrow, so are trying to get the absolute maximum out of this one. Sadly, we have no idea who's doing what, do we?
No, we'd imagine that solved the question. You just sprang to mind. Martin Ellis will be doing this race. Matty Ellis is... Oh, no, he's not out. Is Matty Ellis out next? Yes, he is in NASCAR Open.
Yeah.
So it'll be Martin Ellis in this. Otherwise, it's a very quick turnaround for Matty.
Is it any different for him tomorrow, though?
Potentially not, and both the Ellises are down on the entry list. So safety car lights are off. He picked up the speed, and Michael Saunders isn't hanging around. He's sticking with the safety car. He's keeping the safety car honest. So
he's got two back markers behind him, hasn't he? So
yes.
He's all right.
Yes, he is indeed. So safety car peels off, and Michael Saunders straight back on with the race, Chris Dawes.
Yeah, he's got himself up to power. It's the right thing to do because at the moment, Sam Wilson sat there in second place, cannot overtake these back markers even. He's now being challenged by Stewart. Stewart's got a good run on the Aston, but Sam Wilson says, not on your life, and he just used enough of the power, but he's just understeering around Paddock Hill Bend. He's been passed for second place, challenged now by the Talbot Sunbeam Lotus. He didn't go anywhere near the kitty litter, did he? But he's just lost it. Oh, who else
that was
it?
Peter Samuels, who ran wide into the gravel, absolutely put his foot to the floor to try and get the car to a return to the tarmac, of which it did, but did so quicker than he was expecting. He then spun across the road, but has got back going again and successfully managed to keep himself from causing another safety car interference. Jake Swan is still fighting away with Chris Richardson. So it's Chevrolet Corvette versus Chevrolet NASCAR, based on the Corvette, versus Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Back over the line goes race leader Michael Saunders in the predominantly yellow and green TVR Tuscan Challenge car, and managing to work his way back up into second place is the number 20 Aston Martin of Sam Wilson.
That was interesting. That was almost as though Stewart would let him through, but I cannot believe that for a second. It was just quite a staggering difference in pace there. Now, I know that's where the Aston's going to be at its strongest towards the end of that straight. A bit of a lock-up, interestingly, by Saunders, our race leader down at Graham Hill Bend.
Yeah, what has happened now as well, of course, is Martin Ellis is closed in. Is that a problem for the TVR?
So.
That's going very slowly indeed, isn't it? So we need to keep an eye on the number 95.
That's definitely off the pace there. The next car that's going to get him is another TVR, but that one is the Camara, and through goes Smith. So the number 80 car jumps up into what that would be fourth position now. What a huge shame for a driver that got a wonderful start, or restart.
Yeah, Dave Stewart will have to opt for the pit lane this time. Into the pit lane he will come. Back over the line goes Sam Wilson, being hunted down by Martin Ellis. And I mean, I don't really rule those two off for a final sort of 10-minute scrap. We've got 9 3/4 minutes of the race to go. Change of surface flag on the exit of turn 1 with all of that gravel that was brought on by Peter Samuels, and of course he's got all that hard work to do as well. What of the NASCAR battle? Jake Swan is closing in, and he's now making Chris Richardson go defensive in towards turn 1.
The problem is that you might be talking about one thing and I'm looking at a whole load of other stuff going on somewhere else, and that's the nature of this wonderful race, isn't it?
Yeah.
There is absolutely, but I mean, look at Druids at the moment, absolutely ram-jammed full of cars. The wonderful Jägermeister Capri being challenged by a pair of NASCARs with a Porsche just behind it. Have you ever heard that sentence?
No, never. Absolutely never. And they've got Mustangs and TVRs and Chevrolets and MGs, all V8s, chasing them down. It's, brilliant stuff to see. For the moment, the NASCARs remain as they were. Whereabouts is Michael Saunders? He's just working his way through Graham Hill Bend. He's going to see this field of cars up the road that he's got to pick through at some point. No, not as a race leader, but he's got enough time in his back pocket to deal with that when he wishes. As for the other cars, what do we have in terms of leading in classes? Leading the US class is in fact the NASCAR battle. So it is at the moment going to be the car of Chris Richardson, followed then by Jake Swan in the US class. GB class is being led by that Aston Martin that we keep mentioning, Sam Wilson in the Gulf-esque liveried machine. And it's then the number 80, Matty Smith in the TVR Chimera, not that far behind. What of Class T, that being the TVR Tuscan Challenge cars, naturally is Michael Saunders leading the way, before we then get to the 761 of Guy Carter. He's down in 5th place and 2nd in the TVR class.
I love as well that we were talking about the Griffiths that sadly we've lost of Stewart, the 95 car that was obviously a very different look to the Tuscan that's out there, but we've also got another Griffith out there from a completely different era. So that Dave Stewart one's from the 90s, as is the 151 Michael Blake, but Matthew Smith in that lovely, where is it, pale blue. I think he's just going to be coming down shortly from Druids. I've lost him wherever he is, but I was just going up towards Druids, my apologies, from 1965. And you look at that one, and that apparently was a wonderful handling car, whereas the Tuscan Challenge was not renowned for its well-handling cars.
Which is odd, because, yeah, which is odd because you'd imagine that TVR will have a much shorter wheelbase.
Yes. Yeah, but it has, and it didn't have the same level of power that we associate with TVRs anymore.
Yes,
it wasn't quite the same, but it's a great race car that you see in every historic racing. It'll always be there.
It will indeed. I'm just keeping an eye on the lead for the battle in the US class, which is the battle of the NASCARs. Jake Swan still can't pick the pocket of Chris Richardson just because of traffic, which I think traffic is becoming an ever-present issue because everyone's just fanning out more and more and more, and it's an issue for some, but it's a godsend for others, especially if you're in a battle and you can get a car between you. Over the line goes Sam Wilson, still being hunted down by Martin Ellis. The gap between them 1.8 seconds, and it came out on that lap by a further 0.4 of a second. So these final 6 minutes, I'm just trying to spot battles that might reignite.
Well, I think 761 Carter sat there in 5th place. That is one that may well try to move up a few places. That's the dark blue TVR Tuscan heading up towards Druids at the moment. His target is Smith. That's the multicoloured TVR Chimera. So just coming down the hill, they both just got past the back market into Graham Hill Bend. I love Smith. Has always had that multicoloured livery as well. Yellow, green, blue, red. Really makes it stand out nice and clear to us commentators. I like it, yes. Yes.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's nice and easy for us, isn't it? I hope that's why he does it, with us in mind. The NASCARs have managed to split themselves either side of the Capri at the moment. So Alan Breck and Luke Bennett's Jägermeister liveried Capri are all...
alcoholic beverages are available.
Yes, of course, of course, of course.
Is it a beverage? I don't know, it's not a beverage, is it really?
It's more of a digestive, really, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Headache fuel is what it is. Jake Swan draws himself level with said Ford Capri along the start-finish line, but that just showcases the speed of the Ford Capri in a straight line, jumps on the stoppers, and yeah, has got plenty of braking power as well. Looking at closest cars we've got out on circuit, the Leatherby's aren't that far away from the number 87 machine of Peter Samuels, who is of course recovering from the incident a little while ago.
It's been at Clearways, and that was the Griffiths that I was talking about, Jonathan Ellison, 96. Yes. He's kept out of the gravel, or he's recovered it from the gravel. He has now get himself accelerating away, but it looked like an issue. Just approaching him is this battle that I said was emerging, and it is Smith in the number 80 multicoloured Chimera, now being challenged by the 761 Tuscan of Carter. So that is for 4th and 5th overall. They are, although they're TVRs, they're in different classes. Yes. So Smith is a GB, and obviously Carter is a T for TVR Tuscan Challenge cars.
Yes, yeah, the T class is for Tuscan Challenge cars only.
They reckon there's still more that can come out and play, you know.
Yes, please.
Tucked away. My thoughts exactly. Yes. Yeah, please bring them out. Everybody loves them.
Yeah, so Guy Carter continuing to, for the moment, soak up the pressure, or apply the pressure, pardon me, onto the number 80 machine of Matty Smith. But for how long can he do it? Because he's got a good amount of clear track for now with traffic, so they can just focus on battling, which may just bring them closer.
Yeah. very possibly. I think, what was another one I just noticed that was taking shape? I think it is Holliman in the number 9 Porsche is under growing pressure from an MG, or was it the other way round? No, it's the other way round, sorry. Just turned left at Surtees is that Holliman in that blue and yellow Porsche round McLaren in towards Clearways he goes, coming towards the start-finish line is that you've got the dark MG of Samuels, number 59, just ahead of him. So here they come, about to cross the line. The Porsche's got a good run there on the MG. That's British versus German there, isn't it, really? You know, let's throw something in that's not relevant.
Yeah, I did want to look down here as well at another fabulous battle. Peter Samuels is under big pressure now from the number 58 TVR Tuscan Challenge car, that being in the hands of Clive and Sam Leatherby. They are absolutely together as they cross the line side by side. They were separated by 15 thousandths of a second. They're coming over the start-finish line now. The TVR Tuscan Challenge car, as we say, in the hands of the Leatherbys. Peter Samuels in the MGB Roadster V8, trying to find the braking point that works. This time, not 15 thousandths that separates him. It's the best part of 0.4 of a second. And I have to say as well, Chris Richardson seems to have picked up the pace because he's really pulled away from Jake Swan.
Else if I turn it back on. Yeah, I think that was that Duke that they were having. Oh, and we've just seen going wide is Guy Carter in the 761 at Graham Hill Bend, which means he's dropped away from Smith this time. But yeah, that was where they were fighting with the Brett Capri, wasn't it? It just delayed Swan a little bit too much, which means the 01 car has managed to pull away. So Richardson is a lot more relaxed. In fact, Richardson's managed to get past the 21 car of Foley. Different classes, but still managed to get past Foley, which is the main thing. And it looks like Swan's trying to now do something, get past Foley as well. That's the silver MG with the burgundy flashes just coming in towards Clark Curve and onto the start-finish straight. Yeah,
the Leatherbys and Samuels battle just heading through turn 1. Blue flags being waved as that looks like another very slow TVR. Unfortunately, no, back up to pace again, just trying to allow the traffic to flow. 95% of the way there, just a minute and 10 seconds to go. Peter Samuels goes around Druids for what will be his penultimate time. He'll be heading on to his final lap of the race in a few moments' time. We have seen, I said, very impressed by Chris Richardson. He's managed to pick up a place on the lap prior, through and past the number 88 MGB V8 of Steve Wells. And that car, yeah, just starting to struggle towards the tail end of this race. Here comes Michael Saunders once more over the start-finish line for the penultimate time. The next time he comes through, it will be for the final time. He's split the battle between the Leatherbys and Carter, or the Leatherbys and Samuels, as we have been watching on. So that battle has unfortunately dissipated, but it lasted long enough to go to the very, very final lap of the race. A fabulous battle to watch indeed. It's great to see that Simeon Chodosh in the treble 9 is still out there and running. Of course, I think that was going to be Adam Chodosh behind the wheel, but they have swapped around at some point, obviously with Simeon's car being looking slightly worse for wear. But for the final time, through the final couple of corners, now comes the 199 machine of Michael Saunders. What a brilliant run it has been. Lights to flag, the checkered flag is waiting for him, and lights ablaze towards the line. Michael Saunders wins the first race of the weekend in the Bernie's V8s.